He had it all, but it wasn't enough. Raghav, a skilled potter in a peaceful village, was known not only for his beautiful pottery, but for his peaceful life. A small home, a loving family, steady work, and immense respect. He was content. His pots sold in nearby markets, and travelers from far-off towns would even place special orders. Happiness was etched into clay of his everyday life. But one day, everything changed. A rich merchant arrived in the village with golden rings, velvet robes, and the scent of wealth that made heads turn. He looked at Raghav's work and said, "You could be famous in cities. You're wasting your talent here. Expand. Produce more. Hire 10 helpers. Sell to the royals." The word stuck to Raghav's heart like thorns hidden in silk. That night he couldn't sleep. Why should I settle for little when I can have the world? He thought. He dreamed of mansions, gold coins, and crowds chanting his name. The seed of greed was planted. He borrowed heavily to expand, bought new land, fired his longtime helper, and brought in a team of fast-working, careless men. His hands, once gentle with clay, now only held ledgers and stress. His children, once his evening joy, now barely saw their father. His wife pleaded, "We had enough. Why are we chasing what we don't need?" But Raghav was lost in the chase. His pots, once crafted with love, now cracked easily. Orders were rushed. Customers complained. Debt piled up. One by one, his clients disappeared. The merchant? Gone. His workers left. The bank arrived. The land, the house, the name, gone. And there he was, back to nothing, sitting under a tree, shaping clay again with trembling hands. But this time, something was different. A boy came up to him and said, "Grandpa, make me a pot like the old days." And as Raghav shaped that pot, tears welled up, not of sorrow, but of awakening. He realized in the race to get more, he had thrown away the very life he once prayed for. Want more, lose all. It wasn't just a saying now, it was his truth. Excessive desire often blinds us to what we already have, making us lose everything in pursuit of more. This truth plays out not just in stories or parables, but in real lives every day. The moment we allow desire to grow unchecked, it begins to consume the satisfaction that already exists within us. Like a fire that begins as a comforting warmth, it can quickly become an uncontrollable blaze if not monitored. The difference between ambition and greed lies in balance. Ambition drives growth, but greed destroys it. Imagine a person who has everything they need, a loving family, a steady income, a peaceful routine, a few loyal friends. They are not rich, but they are safe, warm, fed, and emotionally grounded. Yet, in a moment of comparison, a shadow enters their thoughts. A neighbor's new car, a friend's foreign vacation, a colleague's promotion. Each one chips away at their inner peace. They don't notice it at first. It begins subtly like a whisper. Why not me? I deserve more. I'm capable of that too. These thoughts are not evil by nature. They're human. But when allowed to grow without boundaries, they twist into something destructive. The problem with excessive desire is that it changes our focus. What we once celebrated becomes invisible. What once brought joy begins to feel insufficient. A mother's smile, a child's laughter, a peaceful evening walk. They become background noise. The mind now races toward fantasies of better, bigger, richer. Contentment is no longer a destination. It becomes a detour, something we think we'll find after we achieve more. But more is a moving target. Today it is a car, tomorrow a bigger house, the next day fame, then applause, and then legacy. The deeper we go, the more blind we become to the value of what we had when life was simple. And as we chase, we begin to sacrifice. We trade time with loved ones for longer hours at work. We trade health for stress. We trade smiles for status. We start cutting corners. We betray values. We push past those who helped us rise. We begin to justify anything in the name of growth. Greed is not sudden. It's quiet, strategic, deceptive. It tells us we're still being responsible. It tells us we're building a better future. But in truth, it is building a tunnel with no end and no light. Many people who reach the top by chasing more often find themselves lonely. Success without peace is just noise. Accumulation without appreciation becomes poison. And the greatest irony? Once everything collapses, wealth, name, influence, we begin to remember the small things we once ignored. A quiet morning, a simple meal, the sound of rain. These things once belonged to us freely, but in the pursuit of more, we traded them away. This blindness caused by excessive desire doesn't just harm us. It affects everyone around us. Families break, friendships dissolve, communities erode, all because someone chose endless hunger over peaceful sufficiency. Children grow up thinking love must be earned with performance. Partners feel like strangers in a house filled with things but empty of warmth. Even nature offers examples. Animals take only what they need. A lion hunts only when hungry. A tree absorbs only as much water as it can hold. But humans, with the ability to think and imagine more, also carry the danger of overreaching. The mind becomes a battlefield between needs and wants, between enough and excess. It is not wrong to desire better, but when that desire erases gratitude, it becomes a curse. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps desire from becoming greed. It reminds us daily of what we have, not just what we lack. A grateful heart sees blessings where others see scarcity. It transforms ordinary days into meaningful memories. It allows joy to flourish even without luxury. But desire unchecked pulls that anchor out. The ship drifts. We think we're sailing toward success, but in reality, we're drifting from ourselves. The blindness caused by greed is deep and often unnoticeable until loss brings clarity. Only when something breaks do we suddenly see its value. Only when a relationship ends do we realize its worth. Only when we fall ill do we wish for the health we once took for granted. Excessive desire tricks us into thinking the present is just a waiting room for a better future. But in truth, the present is all we ever truly own. The most tragic part is that by the time the lesson is learned, the damage is often already done. People we ignored have moved on. Time we wasted won't return. Opportunities missed may never come again. And so, we sit in the ruins of what once was a full life, try and piece together the remains. The vision of more blinded us, and we walked right past the treasure we already held in our hands. True success lies in contentment, not in chasing what's beyond our reach at the cost of what's already in our hands. This truth is often overlooked in a world that glorifies ambition, hustle, and competition. From childhood, people are taught to dream bigger, aim higher, and never settle. While these messages can inspire growth, they often ignore a crucial wisdom, that sometimes peace lies not in having more, but in appreciating what we already possess. Contentment is not laziness. It is not about giving up or having no goals. It is about balance, knowing when to push forward and when to pause, when to climb and when to cherish the view from where you are. Many people spend their entire lives in pursuit of something they think will bring them lasting happiness. A dream job, a bigger home, a certain figure in their bank account. But the closer they get to that goal, the more the goal seems to move further away. They become addicted to the chase, thinking fulfillment lies in the next promotion, the next luxury, the next win. But with every achievement, there's a subtle emptiness, a realization that even this success feels temporary. The applause fades, the excitement dulls, the satisfaction doesn't last. And so they start chasing again. In this endless race, they often ignore the treasures already in their possession. A healthy body that can walk, breathe, and feel. A friend who listens without judgment. A family that waits for them at the end of the day. A roof over their head, warm food on their plate, and freedom to choose how they spend their time. These blessings, though simple, are priceless. Yet they're treated as background noise in the search for something greater. The mind becomes restless. Even moments of peace feel uncomfortable because they're not being spent productively. Social media and society add fuel to this fire. Everywhere we look, there are filtered images of luxury, success, and celebrations. The pressure to keep up can make us blind to the unique rhythm of our own lives. We begin comparing silently. Their happiness seems brighter. Their life looks more fulfilling. We don't realize we're measuring our journey with someone else's ruler. This comparison poisons the heart. It steals joy, distorts reality, and creates a false narrative that we're somehow falling behind. But success is not a universal formula. It's deeply personal. For one person, it may mean building $1 million business. For another, it may mean raising kind children. For someone else, it may be painting, gardening, or simply living in peace. The tragedy is when people abandon their true path to chase an illusion of success defined by others. Contentment gives a heart space to breathe. It allows us to pause and reflect. It teaches us to value what we have, without constantly being pulled by what we don't. It brings clarity, reminding us that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every prize is worth winning. When we are content, we can celebrate others without jealousy. We can work hard without burning out. We can plan for the future without ruining the present. The most successful people aren't always the ones with the most money or fame. They're often the ones who sleep peacefully, laugh easily, and love deeply. They may not own everything, but they are owned by nothing. They carry no burden of proving their worth. They don't need applause to feel valuable. Their success is measured in inner peace, not outer noise. People often think that contentment means stagnation, but in truth, it is a foundation of true progress. When we are grounded in gratitude, our actions come from joy rather than desperation. We make better decisions. We treat people with kindness. We invest time in what truly matters. We don't rush through life chasing shadows. We walk steadily with awareness. There is a powerful strength in those who can say, "This is enough," not because they lack ambition, but because they understand value. They recognize that more isn't always better, and that the constant desire for more can become a prison disguised as freedom. They don't need to prove themselves through possessions or achievements. Their sense of worth comes from within. Many people realize this truth only after life forces them to slow down. A health scare, a loss, or a major setback becomes a mirror. It shows them how much time was wasted chasing approval or material things, while ignoring the beauty of ordinary days. They look back and wish they had laughed more, rested more, loved more, worried less. They understand too late that the success they were chasing had been sitting quietly in their hands all along. To live with contentment is to live with presence. It means giving full attention to a conversation, feeling the warmth of sunlight on your skin, tasting your food slowly, hearing the music in silence. It means understanding that success is not a destination, but a way of being, peaceful, purposeful, and rooted in appreciation. Those who live with this understanding may not always stand out, but they stand firm. Their joy is quiet but deep. Their strength is soft but unshakable. They smile not because everything is perfect, but because they've learned to find perfection in what already is. They do not need to run endlessly toward success because they've discovered it sitting quietly beside them in the form of contentment. In the silence that follows loss, when the noise of chasing fades and the dust of ambition finally settles, what remains is truth. Not the truth we're taught in classrooms or see on screens, but the one that whispers to us when the world grows quiet. It's in that stillness that we realize, all along, we weren't running toward happiness. We were running away from it. For Raghav, the truth didn't come through sermons or scriptures. It came through broken pots, empty hands, and a child's innocent request. It came when he was left with nothing but clay, the very thing he once molded with joy. What the rich merchant couldn't teach, what wealth couldn't buy, was taught to him by loss. And in that loss, he found something far more valuable than gold, wisdom. True success isn't about how far we rise, but how deeply we are rooted. A tree that grows tall, without roots, will fall at the first storm, but one that grows slowly, firmly, and steadily may not reach the clouds, but it will survive the winds. Raghav's fall wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of awakening. An awakening, though painful, is the only path to inner peace. He understood now what contentment really meant. It wasn't about settling for less. It was about recognizing what already was more than enough. His old life, simple, stable, filled with love and meaning, was success in its purest form. He didn't need applause from strangers. He needed laughter in his home. He didn't need gold coins. He needed golden moments. So often, we're made to believe that success must look a certain way, glamorous, loud, measured in numbers and fame. But those definitions are borrowed. They're imposed by a world obsessed with appearances. Real success is silent. It lives in small things, like meals shared with family, the satisfaction of honest work, the joy of helping someone, the peace of knowing you've done your best without harming anyone. The moral of Raghav's story is universal. Greed blinds, contentment heals. The more we chase what's beyond our reach, the more we risk losing what's already in our hands. Life has a way of reminding us, sometimes gently, sometimes harshly, that we already have what we're searching for. We just need to see it. Each of us has our own version of Raghav's journey. Maybe it's not clay and pots. Maybe it's a job, a relationship, a dream, or a reputation. But the lesson remains the same. When we forget the value of what we have, when we ignore the people who love us, when we trade peace for pride, we set ourselves on a path of destruction disguised as progress. The real danger of greed isn't just losing things, it's losing ourselves. We start lying to ourselves. We start pretending to be someone we're not. We chase shadows and wonder why we feel empty even in the light. But contentment brings us back. It grounds us. It teaches us to celebrate what we have, to slow down and breathe, to choose joy over pressure, gratitude over comparison. And yet, contentment is not about standing still. It's about walking with awareness. It means striving for growth, but not at the cost of your soul. It means dreaming, but not losing sleep over what's missing. It means earning, but not forgetting to give. It means rising, but not stepping on others to do so. It's the art of balance, the wisdom of enough. Raghav, sitting under that tree, began again, but this time he wasn't driven by noise. He was guided by peace. His pots weren't just items. They were pieces of his heart. People began to notice the love in his work again. Word spread, not a factory or empire, but a man who crafted with soul. He didn't become the richest man in the land, but he became one of the wisest. And sometimes, wisdom is a better legacy than wealth. The children of the village would sit with him, watching his hands move with grace. And he would tell them stories, not of gold or cities, but of mistakes and lessons, of loss and rediscovery. His story became a light, showing others the danger of blind ambition and the beauty of gratitude. Let this story be your reminder to pause, to reflect, to count the blessings already around you. Success is not something you chase like a butterfly. It's something that lands on your shoulder when you least expect it, often when you are still kind and open-hearted. Don't wait for loss to teach you the value of what you have. See it now. Celebrate it now. The world may keep telling you to run faster, but sometimes the wisest thing you could do is slow down, breathe, and whisper to yourself, this is enough. Because in that moment of contentment, you'll find the kind of success that no money, no fame, and no fortune can ever give. The success of a peaceful mind, a grateful heart, and a life lived in truth. That, in the end, is everything.